We got so much more to talk about this. Our White House correspondent Rarione Maniece takes us on a look back at exactly how the day played out, hour by hour.
Right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol.
For weeks, leading up to January 6th, former President Trump called his supporters to Washington to push the big lie, claiming the 2020 presidential election was stolen.
This is a fraud on the American public.
The day started early for hundreds of Trump supporters who gathered around the U.S. Capitol building just before 12 p.m.
The people who did nothing to stop this deal.
And blocks away near the White House was a larger crowd at the Save America rally.
And you did it all without burning down buildings? You did it without ripping down churches?
At noon, the former president took the stage where he continued to rail against the results of the election.
Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
In his remarks to the crowd, Trump directed his supporters to march to the Capitol, where they would join hundreds of others already surrounding the complex. Around the same time, pipe bombs were found at the Republican National Committee and Democratic National Committee headquarters. Within an hour, protesters began unleashing their raids and clashing with Capitol police officers.
USA! USA!
Meanwhile, inside the Capitol building, the House and Senate started the certification of the Electoral College vote. Vice President Mike Pence presiding over the process.
The votes for Vice President of the United States are as follows. Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 306 votes. Michael R. Pence of the state of Indiana has received 232 votes.
As the session got underway, Republicans, led by Representative Paul Gosar and Senator Ted Cruz, stood to object to certifying Arizona's Electoral College votes.
For myself and 60 of my colleagues to object.
As the House and Senate separated into their respective chambers for debate, violence continued to erupt between rioters and Capitol Police. The pro-Trump mob overran multiple barricades and soon the Capitol steps. And eventually, the massive protesters stormed the final barricade shortly after 2 o'clock, making entry into the U.S. Capitol. The siege only continued to escalate. Lawmakers were escorted off the floor. Capitol Police Officer Eugene Goodwin confronted rioters in an attempt to redirect them away from the Senate chamber. More protesters swarmed the building, vandalizing lawmakers' offices, including Speaker Pelosi's. Others stepping on the floor of the Senate chamber. And officers were beaten as they tried to regain control and secure the building. It wasn't until 4 o'clock when Trump addressed the mob in a Twitter video.
This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special.
The attack on the Capitol lasted nearly 4 hours. 5 people died in the aftermath of the insurrection, including Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick, who died from injuries he suffered during the riot. After hours of violence, unrest, and panic, lawmakers finally reconvened late into the night of January 6th to officially declare that Joe Biden won the election.
And may God bless the United States of America.
Reporting from Washington, I'm Rarione Maniece for BNC.